Good day, everybody. My name is Rob, and I play guitar for a band called Mad Dog 2020. We're just a classic rock cover band, bunch of friends having a good time. About a year ago, I bought the TC Electronic G system, so I thought I'd just do a rundown of how I hooked that up to my Mesa Boogie Roadster. It's taken me many months to get this system operational and sounding how I like it, but if you put in the time, it's an actually excellent piece of equipment. So as you can see, I've got the Mesa Boogie Roadster. It is an excellent amplifier, 4 channels, lots of versatility, ranging right from clean to metal and everything in between. The G system, I do have it racked, as I find it easy, as you'll see when I go to the back of the rack system. It's easy to get all the pedals. I do have 2 pedals that I do put in with my rig. The Nova Drive, which works well with the G system, and also a Black Star overdrive pedal, just for some extra versatility. The Boogie does have all the distortions that you want, but the other 2 just provide that extra versatility. So I do have a 3-space rack, starting out with a Furman power conditioner, and then you'll see the TC Electronic Brain that detaches from your foot controller. And then I also have my in-ear monitoring system racked in here. I used to have it out by my mixing board, but now I find it very easy just to take a feed off the snake, and then I can take a feed off another amplifier and adjust that accordingly if I need more guitar in my mix. And then I also have a wireless, and that's not racked, it's the X2 digital, and I just have that sitting in the rack. It doesn't fall out, the little lip holds it in. That way if I need to turn it on and off, I can do that. For some reason mine has a little glitch, and when you turn it on, it doesn't turn on. You have to flick the power a couple times and then it turns on. So all in all, it's a pretty decent rig set up this way. The cabling took a lot to figure out, but I've got everything labeled now, so now when I do get to a gig, I'm able to plug in very easily. I do run it stereo, and I use any type of small amp would work. So I use my Ignitator Rebel 30, another decent sounding amp, running into the clean channel, and then you get that full stereo effect. So I do run it like this with the 4-cable method, so I'm getting the distortion and preamp of the Boogie, and it runs through both amps. If I want a simple setup, I can run into two simple amps clean in, and then I have a different set of patches that are just direct into 2 amps instead of the 4-cable method, and then using the distortions of the Nova Drive or the Black Star. But for this video, I'm just going to show how the 4-cable method and the Boogie work with the G system, and using it for channel switching and all the presets. So next part, we'll be going to the back of the amplifier, where I'll show how I hook everything up. Now this is what the setup looks like from the back, and at first it looks scary with a lot of wires, but once you put everything in and label everything, it's pretty easy. So when I'm done a gig, all I do is all the wires that hook up to my amplifier, I just unplug them from there, stick them into the back of my rack, close her up, and I'm done. So we'll start with the hookups to the back of the amplifier. And as I said earlier, I do use this amplifier and the G system for doing amp switching. So we'll start with that. I've got 2 regular tip ring sleeve cords, cables that go to those switch. You'll see the gray, and red. So I've got them labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then those go into the back of the G system. There's a switch 1 and a switch 2 output, and then you've got your effects send and return that hooks up into the G system. And there's lots of information on the 4-cable method. Just Google it, Roadster, G system. There's lots of information about hooking up the G system to the Laird Williams white paper. Google that, and that was an important document that helped me out. And pretty basic. I've got the loop set, and because I am utilizing the effects loop, the G system goes through that. Any pedals that I run for overdrive do run in front. That's how the Pro system works. And then we'll zoom in a little bit closer on the back of the rack. One thing that's great about the G system is it does have power out, so if you do have pedals, it will operate your regular 9-volt pedals, which is great, so you don't have to run more adapters than you need. So starting on the left, as I said earlier, I do have the TC Electronic Nova Drive, and that does work well with the G system, because as you pick you could actually program it, and then as you change your banks, you can change your distortion and overdrive settings. I do prefer a more tube-based distortion, but it actually seems to work well. So everything in there, I've actually just got it zip strapped down. I drilled a couple holes at the bottom of my rack and zapped her through, and that seems to work well. And then I do have a hum eliminator. There is a recommendation to use one of those, so if I'm finding things do get noisy, I do run that in the loops of hooking up to the amp. But I find directly just using the Roadster with the G, it's actually pretty quiet. And then on the right there, you'll see the Black Star. So what happens when I get to a gig, or even if I'm going to practice here, I just turn everything on and then adjust. I've got everything actually adjusted. I taped all the knobs off so nothing can be bumped and changed in there. And then I just choose the overdrive setting, mainly because I like just a good rock crunch. I find the distortion channel on the Black Star just a little bit muddy. Yeah, it looks kind of scary. All these wires up here are just the power cable for my in-ears and the power cable for the Black Star. Just got them tucked up there. And then the MIDI cable to the brains of the G system I keep in there, and then I just tuck into the right of the Black Star, and everything works pretty great. I did get a lot of presets. A fellow by the name of Scott from G System Videos on YouTube, and he's got a blog cast called the G Cast. I bought a lot of presets from him, and it definitely helped to get a bass sound of what I was looking for, and then change from there. So I recommend, if any of you guys have one of these systems, to check them out and get in touch with him if need be, and get some of his, especially if you use the Nova Drive. He did saved me a lot of time. He did from low distortion right up to metal. He got 18 presets that the Nova Drive can hold. So I bought them all from him and utilized maybe about 3 or 4 of those sets for most of my presets. But yeah, pretty simple. Once everything was done, I keep all the cables. I've got them zip strapped together, so it's simple to do. And I got a label maker, labeled everything. No special cables, it's just ones you buy from the music store. Didn't go to anybody to get custom made ones. I'm sure that would make a difference, but it's not a career for us. We just play. So next step, I'm going to fire everything up and run through a bunch of my presets, show you how it changes the channels, and show you the versatility of what the G system can do with the Roadster.